Good evening, everyone. This is the law meeting for January 20th, 2021. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Rosemary Brown,
Present.
Robert Lawson. Take yourself off mute, Mr. Lawson. Pamela Fitzgerald.
Here.
Mr. Lawson is here. Checked in.
Okay. Can we have a minute, excuse me, take a minute and do the readings of the minutes from December the 14th, 2020 and get approval?
If I could just make a comment on the minutes. I know this was a relatively short meeting, but I do believe that when we get to the agenda items, these should read a little bit more like a narrative rather than just a listing of the items. For example, where it says a question was asked and answered, the minutes really should reflect what that discussion was. And on the items that were tabled, if there was discussion regarding why they were tabled, that discussion should appear in the minutes as well. The standard for minutes is that it should give the members of the public who weren't in attendance an understanding for the rationale behind the decisions of the public body. So I would just recommend that we flesh them out a little bit more so that the public understands what the discussion was.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes there's no reason for, no reason is given for table, so I'm gonna write what I hear.
No, I understand that. It's just this currently it's just a listing of the ordinances and not necessarily kind of the more narrative version.
And I did that because you weren't here, so they needed to read them on certain days. They need to read them, so they were right before them. So I'll go back to doing how I did them before.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll ask that we table these minutes to see if we can get any more narrative added to them and come back to them March. How's that? Okay.
Yeah, if there wasn't any other discussion, there's nothing to add. I know I did try to join this meeting, but you were already off by the time I tried. So it was short.
Take a little bit to go back and see if we can come up with a little bit more narrative. If we can, we can. If we can't, we can't. So we'll just table them until March for the approval. So what we have now, our agenda items. Before we jump into the legislation that we went over all of the legislation last night, but I wanted to give anyone that had an opportunity, that had a question, and there's one piece of the legislation that I wanted to expound on regarding the request for it to be tabled. But before we go into that, what I would like to do is ask for approval of our 2021 Rules of Council.
I haven't seen those yet. Were there?
What, you have not?
No.
Okay. One of the things that most prominent is that we were looking into changing the meeting times to 6 o'clock. That being said, the reason was because there's talk about maybe sometimes we may have 2 meetings in one night. And with that being said, if we start at 7, that could make the meetings run very long, that particular night run long. So it was a consensus that we changed the time from 7 to 6 p.m. I don't have them here in front of me. There was really, I don't think any real substance changes that I can think of. Hold on, Ms. Fitzgerald may come up with some.
Oh, I was going to say there was an email that went out I think to look at the time again, because as we fold back into and after COVID, and people are not possibly working from home as much, is that going to be an issue as far as transit for the person to get to the meeting at 6 o'clock and for it to start on time at 6 o'clock? So I didn't see any correspondence or anything after that. So I don't know if it was put back on the table to possibly look at
I
the
think,
7 o'clock again. I don't know.
I
We
think,
could always change it.
I think the consensus was we changed it till 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry.
actually voted on it, but then it was put back out. There was an email that went out this week.
So that would be a change to the rules of council we would do by ordinance. So council would vote on it next Tuesday. I just need to see what the proposed changes are, if there's anything in addition to changing the meeting times. And Ms. Fitzgerald, I think what we can do is we can keep them at 6 while we're doing the remote meetings. And if at some point during the year, council switches to doing them in person again, and there's a desire to move it to 7, we can always make that change.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't in favor, but that's fine. That's the rule. That's fine.
How soon are they talking about changing the meetings? Coming up in February? These meetings coming up now? I mean, when are we making the change?
We wouldn't be able to change until we vote on it, correct?
Right, we can't change time until we vote on it. And if we
Okay.
vote on it at council meeting,
Yeah, so we'll have to have legislation on it.
yeah.
That's part of our code of ordinances, the rules of council are.
It's
So
gonna be kind of hard for me. It's gonna be kind of hard for me once the weather changes to have a meeting at 6 o'clock, because it's gonna be more light outside for me. So I would prefer to keep them at 7. That's just, I mean, we can vote on it. I don't mind, but that's just where I'm at with it.
Okay. Well, we'll have it before council and we can vote on it. That discussion, I don't think you had any objection to it at the time, Lawson, but I'll get anything else that was proposed for the rule of council to you, Emily.
Well, that's why I kind of brought it up before. I think when we voted on it, and maybe people thought about it after the fact when things get back to normal, of a more normal back in the office, normal commute.
Mhm.
I mean, is that going to be a possible issue for our residents as well as, people to join the council, to join the meeting? It just might be kind of tight with people working 8 to 5, but they work 20 miles away or 30 miles away. And there's, it can become very difficult, but we'll just go with the consensus, whatever, the group decides.
Okay. And I'll get that information to you if there's anything else, Emily.
Thank you.
So now we're going to go into the ordinances and resolutions. The first one was an ordinance providing for new fund numbers for certain funds. I believe Tim explained that to us last night. Actually, I don't have to go through all of them. I think we all remember what was said last night. The only one that I wanted to expound on was the one, well, actually it'll be 2. The one for the tree board, that was ordinance 06-2021. And that was in an amount for $10,000. I believe Tim sent an email out because I asked him to check on it. That's basically supposed to be based on the per capita. It's not a hard, steadfast rule, but regarding that, I believe his email that went out said if it were to go by the per capita, it would be someplace in the neighborhood of 35,000. Last year, we spent, I believe it's $14,100 on the tree board, out of the tree board. So I'm proposing that we change this ordinance from 10,000 to 15,000. And his thought was we could either do that or leave it at 10, see where the 10 takes us. And if we need more money, have more legislation drawn up.
Ms. Rosemary, as far as the tree board, we could have spent more. That's just what they gave us the first year.
Mhm.
There's many trees and that we're responsible for and maintenance. they could take as well past $10,000.
I'm asking that we increase it to 15,000. Tim's email that went out said that we could afford to do the between the 14 and the 10 and the 15,000. That way, rather than having to go back and forth, keep going back and forth, putting in more legislation. Does anyone have a thought on that or any disagreement?
I agree with that. I like that proposal. I can expand a little bit. I mean, if we got to spend it, I mean, it is called Beautiful Woodlawn. I mean, we do gotta put our thumbprint on something that we're doing. So I think, I think that would add beauty to the village.
Yeah.
And I believe that per capita spending goes towards recognition as being a tree city.
Right. But the per capita would be, like I said, about 35,000.
Yep.
So if we were to take it to 15,000, like I said, last year, he said we spent 14.1. So do I have a consensus on that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you, Bobby, do you have any concerns with that, Ms. Trabue?
No, ma'am, I agree.
Okay.
Ms. Brown, since we're changing the legislation and law committee, if we could just do a motion
Okay.
to make that change before it goes to full council.
Right. Right. So if I can get that motion.
Make a motion that we change the proposed $10,000 transfer for the tree board to and up it to a total of 15,000.
Can I second that? Second it?
Mhm.
Okay.
The other item I
We
want,
just need that, just for the record, a vote. All in
yes,
favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The other piece of legislation that I was asked to table, spoke on, was the fire equipment gear for the fire department. I spoke with Jerry today. I don't know if anyone else spoke with him, but I spoke with him today regarding his request to have that table. And he said that one of the reasons he wanted to have it tabled is because it did not come before him. The first he remembers seeing it was when he saw the legislation, which was after he came back from vacation, which was on the 11th. I know we had talked about this early on back, I think it was probably maybe November, December last year. And if you guys look at the legislation that's attached, the documentation that's attached to that legislation, it goes and it talks about not only gear, vests, it talks about helmets, it talks about the bulletproof vest and some other items, which I believe when we talked about, I don't know, and I don't remember if all those items were part of the things that the fire department had spoke about. But Jerry's concern is, I believe the way he put it, he does not want to see our paramedics going into a resident's home looking like they're into a combat zone or whatever. So he would like to have a more conversation with the chief to get a little bit more information as to exactly what it is that they're looking for. Also, I think I remember when we talked about this, the vest or the equipment that they were going to be using, the gear that they were going to be using was going to be specific to that individual. And here, what we're reading is that it's versatile. which would be interchangeable. So he just wants to get a little bit more information and have more of a conversation with the chief. I asked him if he could possibly get with the chief as soon as possible. I'm kind of disappointed that we don't have a resolution to this tonight, or hopefully we may be able to have it by council, since it is equipment and gear that our paramedics need. I would like to get this taken care of as soon as possible. So those were the two things. If anybody else has any questions or know of any other conversations that may have been had, or am I the only one that spoke with Jerry?
I haven't spoken with Jerry about this item.
You have not. Anyone else?
No.
No, I haven't talked to Jerry.
Have you talked with him, Ms. Trabue?
No,
Okay. So, what's the committee's pleasure? Do we want to table this? To give the village manager?
We could, if we could allow it to go to full council, we could table it at full council if the matter hasn't been resolved by that time. Or we could table it now and it would wait till February.
I would prefer to
Get information, more information about it.
I would prefer to
Get it
take,
out to everybody.
I'm sorry.
Can we see if we can get more information soon and get all that information out to the group? About exactly what this is for?
Well, when I talked with him, his thing was, I'm not sure when he's going to be able to get with him before next Tuesday. And his recommendation is that we're going to, that we do table it. And so it could come to the floor, or we could table it now. I personally would like to see us have some kind of resolution to this by the time it gets to council.
Yeah, but-
Can we talk to the fire chief?
The other thing I would suggest, if you're comfortable with it, is leaving it on the agenda for now and giving the manager the authority to table it before the council meeting if he does not feel comfortable that the matter has been vetted to his satisfaction.
That sounds good.
What's the committee's pleasure? So we'll
We'll table it like Emily said, so we can
Yeah.
get, that's probably the best decision.
So it would be a motion to allow it to go to full council unless the manager determines that the matter hasn't been fully vetted.
okay.
Okay.
I guess someone to make that motion.
What was the motion again? I'll make it.
You can just go ahead and say so moved. I think it'll be on for the minutes.
Okay, cool.
Somebody second. Pam? Okay.
Maybe on for the minutes.
I beg your pardon?
I said it may be on. You might want to repeat that. I'll tell you what I have. That this resolution be allowed to go to full council and allow the municipal manager to seek more information.
It would be, the motion would be to allow the resolution to go to full council unless the municipal manager determines that it hasn't been properly vetted, in which case it will be pulled from the agenda by the manager.
We'll get it afterwards.
So
All right.
Mr. Lawson made the motion and Ms. Fitzgerald seconded the motion.
So I'll just run through these motions and ordinances.
So just so we clear that up, did everyone vote on that? Yes, on that last motion?
Yes.
Okay.
You voted yes.
I got a question though. So, and you might have to help me with this. So how do we, that's the only way we can move this through faster? Is we just have to wait on the manager to give us an answer to what this is?
Well, I mean, my understanding is that the reason that it was suggested that it be tabled is because the manager wasn't involved in the discussion regarding this particular purchase, and he needed to get some more information before he was comfortable with it coming to council. So the question is, do we want to go ahead and proceed with it coming to council unless he's not satisfied that the matter has been properly vetted and should come before council?
Yeah, I agree. We do need more information, but I was just wondering, is there any way to speed up getting the information a little bit faster? Because we don't know if this is really a real need for the fire department. That's where I'm headed with this. Is this a real?
I can chat with Jerry in the morning, and see what his thoughts are on that.
Okay, thank you.
One of the other things he says is that there are more things that are items that were added than what he was first made aware of when we talked about it back in November, December.
So yeah, just understanding if that's a package deal with this whole thing that they want, this protective gear, maybe, I guess understanding when we first received the first information about it months ago, it seemed like it was a smaller list. So maybe there's more to the gear than they thought. I don't know. But if it's to protect them and it's really a need, I would just want to know more about it and not have to wait another 30 days if that's something that they are needing, because we had talked about this before, is where I'm going with it.
Right. So we're all in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
So regarding the ordinances and resolutions that we have, 01/2021, an ordinance providing new fund numbers for certain funds and eliminating certain funds within the village budget. Is there any objection to this going to full council?
No.
Okay. Ordinance 02/2021, imposing a fire hydrant maintenance repair and replacement fee. And I believe that fee is going to be $1. Do we have any objections for that going to full council?
No.
The other one is ordinance 03/2021, amending and restating ordinance number 22/2020, pertaining to the salaries and compensation of all offices and positions in the village of Woodlawn and declaring an emergency. Any objections to that going to full council?
No.
I just wanted to make sure everyone saw the revised one that I sent out this afternoon. The only change was in section 15. I clarified that all employees would receive the 27th pay. And that was clarified just because we do have employees who are on a contract. And it was for the avoidance of doubt that it applied to all employees.
I believe the language read that you added would be including those salaried employees whose salary is set by contract.
Correct.
That's the language that was added.
Yes.
That's the way the calendar falls, right? Because you usually get 26 and every 10 years or something weird happens. Okay, got it.
7K.
Yeah.
Okay. Where am I? The other one is ordinance 04/2021, an ordinance changing the contribution to the mayor's court computer fund on each citation payout for court adjudication from $1 to $10 and declaring an emergency. Do you have any opposition to that?
No.
No.
Okay. The next is 05/2021 ordinance, and it's to advance up to $165,000 from the general fund to the community development block grant fund.
No.
No.
I believe in reading that ordinance, it states in there with that amount of money to be remitted back to the general fund by the end of the year.
Yes. It would probably be before that as well.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Any objections?
No.
All right. Mr. Lawson?
No,
Okay. Ordinance 06-2021. That's an ordinance to transfer $10,000 from the general fund to the tree board, and we've now decided that we want to change that to 15,000.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is ordinance 07-2021, an ordinance amending appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. Do you have any oppositions to that?
no,
Full council. The next one is 02-2021, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with PAR Public Safety Equipment for the purchase and installation of emergency equipment for 3 police vehicles.
no,
No.
Okay. The next one is resolution 03-2021, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with fire department service and supply for the purchase of protective gear for members of the fire department. This is the one that we're going to allow to go to full council, but give our manager the ability to ask that it be tabled, basically at our council meeting, if he has not gotten sufficient information.
I would ask him to pull it from the agenda before the council meeting.
All right,
I think that's how the motion was stated.
okay. The next one is resolution 04-2021, authorizing the municipal manager to purchase a 2021 Ford Explorer for the Woodlawn Police Division.
no for me.
No. No issues.
No issues at all.
Do you have anything, Emily?
Just one reminder, and I will cover this when we start legislation at the council meeting. Is that one of the changes that was made to the charter is that resolutions are only read one time now. So we will not have a motion to suspend the readings on the resolutions that we will have at the council meeting
We will not.
starting this month. That's correct. Only ordinances will need to have the reading suspended if council wants to act on them that evening.
Okay. Only ordinance for suspension of the rules.
Correct.
Resolutions will not. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns that they would like to speak on regarding the law committee?
I have just one question. I know last night you were talking about the vehicle that they want to purchase. You wanted to know if that was going to be on rotation, right? If these vehicles are going to start to be on rotation?
I believe for all, it's actually for any of our fleet in the village, there needs to be a rotation schedule that needs to be set up. And what the mayor said that he would talk to Jerry about that, because there has been some discussion on this, but we really need to set it in place.
Okay.
And so we can do further discussion with Jerry. More than likely, that would probably be best done at our CAL meeting next month.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then also, Emily, I was supposed to have sent you something and I didn't. I'll get to it before we have our CAL meeting next month.
No worries. We can pick up on some of the personnel stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Next month. Okay. Is there anything else? Does anyone have any other concerns? If not, that's my half-hour meeting. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting, the law committee meeting.
All right. Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks. Good meeting, Rosemary. See you
You gotta
later.
vote, guys. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Good
All right.
night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good job, Miss Rosemary.
Bye, Ms. Treview. Ms.
Bye.
Treview.